This is a story of sunshine that starts on a foggy November morning at London Airport. But first, there are flowers for a queen, and a foretaste of the sunny West African welcome that will greet Her Majesty and the Duke of Edinburgh in a few flying hours from now. For months, nearly 12 million people who have never seen the Queen, many of them her subjects, have been conjuring up their own colorful way of turning this 10,000-mile journey into an unforgettable memory. It's cold here, in the sudden swirls of mist that have come to wave their goodbyes along with the rest of us. It's cold, yet there's a thrill of excitement in the air. For this is a chapter of history beginning to unfold. And now, in the giant jet airliner standing ready, the crew is all set for a non-stop flight to the equator, to Ghana, and a string of tropical lands.
London Tower, jet Speedbird 7021. Request startup clearance, please.
Speedbird 7021, I have your clearance. Speedbird 7021 is clear to Accra. To cross Epsom above 2, Dunsfold at 4, climb when instructed by radar to maintain 300.
Roger, Speedbird 7021 is ready to taxi.
7021, leave to the south for runway 28 left. Check before crossing 23 left. Speedbird 7021 is clear for takeoff. 7021 is rolling.
Ghana. And just for the moment, in the remote villages, the copra and the banana crop is forgotten. The palm oil can wait for a while, because some are prepared to hike 200 or 300 miles to Accra, the capital city built up among the coconut palms and ancient castles of this famous coast, where even the students of the new university are ready to put away their books for a time. Because the Black Star of Ghana is flying for a queen. A queen that Ghana recognizes as head of the Commonwealth. The whole country has gone to town and decked itself out for the royal visitor who's on her way. The market mammies have sold 500,000 trinkets and dress lengths of cotton printed to commemorate the day. An extra special manicure, a new hairstyle for a unique occasion, and a cavalry turnout fit for a glittering queen. Sleek and shiny, for the royal one is coming. Make ready, make everything ready. Come quickly to see the royal one. The royal one is coming from the sky. This is the message that they're beating out on the talking drums. There are over 6 million people in Ghana, and they're pouring into Accra by the busload. The markets are transforming themselves into jam-packed car parks, camping sites, jazz clubs, and open-air waiting rooms. They've only got one idea on their minds: to welcome their royal guests. Half a million people intend to pack themselves into the swelter of Accra Airport. Paramount chiefs with their rich cluster of attendants, and lone tribesmen who have made a 5-day trek. Rich kente cloth, the golden emblems. Here is a gathering that could only be assembled for a queen. And there, the president of Ghana, Dr. Nkrumah, waits with his wife to greet his royal guests. Just for today, the chickens rule the roost in the deserted villages. The whole people have turned themselves into an escort for the Queen as she drives to the historic 16th century stronghold, which is now to be her royal residence. Christiansborg Castle, built by the Swedes, captured by the Danes, and sold to the British, is now Ghana's government house. And there's welcome all around. Her Majesty come today and transforms everything into a garland of sublime happiness, they say. And they speak the truth. For today is the great day of brocaded umbrellas. The durbar of the chiefs who come with their jesters, their scimitar bearers, their pages, and those attendants who are called their souls. Here the Ashanti leaders mingle with the Fantis to pay their deep respects. Never has a queen been closer to the people who have come at the call of the talking drum. This is history, with the historic and traditional welcome of white handkerchiefs. Never has a sovereign lady walked so freely in such a pressing throng. It is the same at the Manly's Market, shoulder to shoulder with milling crowds. And while the market women put on a right royal show, the men roll out the little boats that for ages have carted rich Ghana merchandise out to the big ships that still have to anchor offshore on this harborless coast. Today it's a regatta. Races out over the breakers. And soon that's all that this surf boating will mean. Because a few miles away, at Tima, they've built a 500-acre deep-sea harbor that will make these surf boats economically obsolete. Nobody who sees the surf boats race can believe that they'll ever be out of date as a sporting contest and spectacle. For this is a display that might have been specially designed as a special delight for a queen. But in Ghana, inevitably, progress and traditional things can sometimes clash. The pastoral countryside at Akosombo, now the site for the Volta River Dam and the projected £70 million hydroelectric works. There's enough electric power to be tapped in this valley to supply both Ghana and large slices of neighboring territories. The races. It might almost be Ascot. And all the English present are asking the question that everything on this racecourse makes one ask. Just how alike can different people get? But these Ghana jockeys are mounting now for a race they've never raced in before. The Queen Elizabeth Gold Cup, a new classic for this part of the sporting world. And here's the moment that a happy owner is too keyed up to remember in any detail, but far too proud ever to forget. A gay occasion, calling for those irresistible drums that summon you to happiness. High life. The West African recipe for an enchanting evening. The gay finale to 11 days of royal happiness. The Royal Yacht Britannia now sails on its state visit to Liberia, Africa's oldest republic, established over
a controversial visit that became historic. Accra in November 1961. Bombs had gone off in the city days before the Queen arrived. President Kwame Nkrumah's statue was ripped off. Its remains are today preserved at the Memorial Park in the capital. Ghana was among the first African countries south of the Sahara to gain independence from colonial rule. It became a republic and joined the Commonwealth. But in London, there were fears it was slipping away and the Soviet Union was gaining ground. So, despite the security concerns, the Queen was keen to go ahead with the long-promised visit, and it was billed as a great success. Kwame Gentwa's father was a cabinet minister at the time.
My dad woke us up very early in the morning, and three of us, me and my two sisters, and the Ashantis had a Durbar for her. They pulled everything, all the stops. It was a fantastic Durbar, beautiful Durbar, colorful Durbar, talking drums, everything was there. And it left a huge legacy on the minds of Ghanaians for quite a long time.
It was at her farewell banquet that she made history. A dance with the man who replaced her as head of state of Ghana was hugely symbolic. A queen well ahead of her time. But back home, not everyone was ready to embrace the message.
The first black man to dance with the Queen. It's understood that when the picture was published in a newspaper in the UK, it was withdrawn from circulation.
Here in Ghana, it struck a chord.
If the Queen visited here and it was treated like, oh, this is not quite a country, it's a second-grade one, then I don't think the Commonwealth would have grown the way it did. I don't think the atmosphere that has sustained the Commonwealth would ever have happened. I think it was critical for the survival of the Commonwealth that that visit was such a roaring success.
After the dance, the Queen would have come here to the Christian Castle in Osu, gone up that staircase in her flowing gown, and into her bedroom, which is right behind me. In fact, the bed she slept in that night is still here, preserved to this day. And in the morning, she would have come to this balcony where I'm standing. The impact of her visit has also been felt across generations through the Akosombo Dam, the main source of power for Ghana and her neighbors. It was the centerpiece of President Nkrumah's economic plan. The Queen helped find the funding to build it. And this is the lasting legacy of a royal visit that almost didn't happen. Anne Soy, BBC News, Accra.
All doubts in Ghana were at an end. The Queen's visit was going to take place. From near and far, Ghanaians converged on the airport, hoping to be among the first to see the royal lady of whom they'd heard so much. Most of the tribal chiefs were there, and 40 paramount chiefs, with umbrellas to indicate to the knowing the degree of rank importance. One apologetically explained that as accommodation in Accra was limited, most of them had brought only one wife. Drums announced the arrival of the aircraft. President and Mrs. Nkrumah arrived with members of the government and other persons of importance. And what a majestic sight when the giant Boeing taxied in. No detail was omitted that stamped this as the most memorable occasion in the history of the airport. Her Majesty and the Duke of Edinburgh were here at last. 55 minutes late indeed, but that was owing to the fog-postponed takeoff at the London end. As the Queen was escorted by the President, the Duke walked with Mrs. Fatia Nkrumah, the Egyptian-born lady whom the President married 4 years ago. The Osajifo, as Nkrumah loves to be called, the word means redeemer, presented the chiefs and others of note. Their obvious pleasure showed how keen the disappointment would have been if Her Majesty had not come to Ghana. It all seemed to illustrate the mystique of the monarchy. For while Ghana insists on being a republic and makes it clear to the people that Her Majesty is not their queen, all at the airport received her with as much enthusiasm as if she ruled over them by divine right. The chiefs and such followers as they allowed made up a total of more than 3,000. Quite apart from the wives already mentioned, some of them have more than 50 children. It's as well that most of them stayed at home. When all the greetings and presentations were over, the President and his guests began the 6-mile drive to the Christiansborg Castle. The Duke rode with Madame Nkrumah. The route was lined by fully 350,000 people. Next day, there was a parade of the armed forces in the Queen's honour. Black Star Square cost the strained Ghanaian exchequer £1 million to lay out. But the President needs such an arena when he addresses mass meetings of his people. Hot for you, sir? What must it be for the visitors? But now all eyes were on the troops. British trained and displaying that the highest military traditions were being followed in these days of independence. The Army numbers 6,000. The National Police, 10,000. The pick of them lined up for inspection by the Queen and the President. The Queen could well understand with what pride Nkrumah and his people look upon the army. Independent Ghana is a very young nation, only 4 years old. It was not proclaimed a republic until last year. This was a formal ceremony. On the following day came an informal one, the surfboat regatta, and the display of skill used in civil purposes. As Accra is without a harbour, ships have to anchor a mile out in the roads and be loaded and unloaded by surfboat. Each has a helmsman and 10 paddlers, and as they pack 1 3/4 tons of cargo, and the boat weighs 1,800 weights, strength as well as skill is needed to fight the breakers. The regatta was seen by Her Majesty from a Mogul pavilion, a portable one which will be much used during the tour. And here's that strength and skill we mentioned. Naturally, the people of Accra are very fond of the surfboats and the men who man them. Today, they have one regret. When the huge artificial harbour at Tema, 6 miles away, is completed, the surfboats will be out of business. Perhaps that was one reason why the 1,000 men and the 115 boats taking part determined to put up a fine show. How well they earned their applause. More of the real Ghana was seen at the Makola Market, an association of 80,000 members. Here the Queen met the people. Indeed, almost rubbed shoulders with them. Every visitor to Accra wants to see the mammies, the plump stallholders who realize that silence has no place in salesmanship. Anyway, it's all here. Gay clothes, they have to be gay to sell in Ghana, spices, vegetables, and doubtless detergents. Impossible here to be unaware of how warm-hearted, vital, abounding with life are the lovable people of Ghana.